I was a student at Princeton University in the 1970s. In 1974, we took over at Princeton University. We took over Nassau Hall. No one was ever arrested. But after the initiation of this genocidal war in Gaza, they intensified the oppression not only of the people of Palestine, but they intensified the oppression and repression of people at home.
Hey, it's Jordan. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the only independent outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
The Trump administration has carried out attacks on Yemen, airstrikes that have killed over 53 people, including children. They're bragging about it and sending emojis, pretending like this is something normal. And in Gaza right now, there's nonstop bombardment of people who have been starving for a month because Israel has had a siege on Gaza.
Yes, it's fascism. It's been fascism. It's been a trend of rising fascism around the globe and here. And best way to fight back? I don't think there is one best way. I think the best way to fight back is through a combination of a diversity of tactics and building a mass movement that does a bunch of different things to fight this. And it needs to be showing up for protests like this. It needs to be organizing in our workplaces and our living circumstances, tenants unions, labor unions. It needs to be dispersed actions. It's got to be a bunch of different things. I think there's lessons to learn from throughout history for how to successfully fight authoritarian regimes, how to successfully fight fascism. And we have to take some of those lessons to heart. There's no one unifying truth of how to defeat this thing. There are a lot of individual truths that need to be working in a cohesive manner, even if it is dispersed, towards finding the levers of power and finding the ways to remove the things that fascism needs, that this government needs to continue to do state repression.
Yeah. As we heard, the woman from the Green Party just said, it's not any Democrat, it's not Republican, it's the system itself.
Yeah.
So regardless of who's in the White House, we have fascism.
Capitalism's a problem, and fascism is the result of that. Late-stage capitalism and this hyper-capitalist hellscape we've been slowly sinking into, right? Over time. And this is one of the outcomes of that becomes more and more likely unless regular working class people can get organized and build bottom-up power to stop this. And there are a lot of different fronts and ways to do that. Like, people will generally turn to the electoral avenue, and I think there is value in that. But where we're heading right now, I don't think we have time to wait for an election, number one. And number two, I think you need power that can win, that can't be contested, right? Like, can't be successfully contested by the state. You need to build labor power. You need to build a militant labor movement. You need to build a militant protest culture. We have to take lessons from France. We have to take lessons from other countries around the globe that have that type of culture, right? Try to pull this shit in France, buildings get lit on fire.
It's supposed to be a symbolic representation of justice. And this statue has a blindfold, which is supposed to symbolize that justice is blind. But if justice were truly blind, Khalil Mahmoud would not be in prison. We're standing here today at a federal courthouse in Newark, New Jersey. But do you know the name of this federal courthouse? It's right there in front of you on the lawn. Believe it or not, this is the Martin Luther King Federal Courthouse. Imagine that, putting Martin Luther King's name on an institution that in fact practices injustice. I'm 71 years old. I was a student at Princeton University in the 1970s. In 1974, when we were campaigning against the racist apartheid regime in South Africa. We took over at Princeton University. We took over Nassau Hall, a federally recognized landmark. We took it over for 3 days and 3 nights. We took it over and no one was arrested. The police didn't even show up. No one was arrested. For 50 years, students at Princeton had protested for all different causes for justice. No one was ever arrested. But after the initiation of this genocidal war in Gaza, they intensified the oppression not only of the people of Palestine, but they intensified the oppression and repression of people at home.
All of the things that won us the concessions that were even remotely worthwhile in the Federal Labor Relations Act, the National Labor Relations Act, all of those things that were guaranteed are now gone, but that puts wildcat strikes, solidarity strikes, all of the things that won us those concessions in the first place are now back on the table if they take that away. And we need to realize that there is no safe anymore, right? There's going to be risk no matter what we do. So we need to look at this thing for what it is and understand that if we don't build the solidarity needed to make a movement able to succeed and win power and stop, like people just being black-bagged in the middle of the night, workers just being held with their nose to the grindstone, and if you speak up and you try to organize, you're gone, right? Unless we understand that that is what we're facing and that there is no safe and that there is risk no matter what you do, it's going to be really difficult to organize and win. But we also need to realize that there are lessons in history. Like there were people fighting pitched battles in the mountains of West Virginia for a better life, to win the things we now have and that we're losing. And again, do you want it to go back to that? Fuck no. But I mean, what else does history teach us? That like as the fascists and as the billionaires and as the oligarchs continue to escalate with repression, it pushes us to a point where the only thing that's going to work is a militant movement that can meet that level of escalation that they've already engaged in. So that's why I'm here. Absolutely. We're in first they came for territory. Like you got to show up.
We are witnessing firsthand the tangible threat to our very existence. Simply being Palestinian is under attack. And this is not an abstract fear. It is a present and daily reality that we are being forced to confront. The attack on Mahmoud is not just an attack on him. The attack on Mahmoud is an attack on all of us. It is not a hypothetical concern, it's a very real and imminent danger. And as we see with each passing day, it's already happening to more and more of our community members. We live in the United States of America. We are supposed to be served by institutions that uphold justice, truth, and the rights of all people. The right to freedom of speech is the foundation of this country, and it is not a privilege, it's a right that has been earned by generations of struggle. And yet, today, this right of freedom of speech is under attack. The threat to speaking out is not just about Mahmoud, it's not just about the Palestinian community. We have heard this warning for decades. Palestine is the litmus test. Today, the assault is on Palestine and those advocating for Palestine. Tomorrow, it'll be on anyone who dares to speak out for justice, for truth, for dignity.
I think this has been happening for quite some time, but we're seeing, it fully unleashed, I suppose, under the Trump administration at this time. This involves every single person who believes in freedom of speech. It's not just about Palestine, it's about safety for all of us in the United States to be able to express our beliefs, our political beliefs, whatever they are. So everybody should be concerned about this issue. Certainly I'm for Palestine, free Palestine, but this is bigger than that. This is about defending the Constitution and defending what we all think it means to be an American, which is to have freedom of speech.
Absolutely, yeah. And, for years we've heard Republicans and Trump rant against democratic censorship. and cancel culture. But now we're seeing what they're doing, on their deportation crusade. Does this expose the Republicans and Trump administration for what they really are?
A bunch of fascist assholes. Yeah, I mean, they're in it for the money. They're in it for the power. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about democracy. They are in it for themselves. That is clear. There's so much hypocrisy here. It's hard to even, understand it all. This is about money and power, pure and simple. This has nothing to do with democracy and why I think all of us are proud to be Americans.
Absolutely. Yeah. And did you hear, I don't know if you heard Marco Rubio, he's trying to justify deporting pro-Palestinian protesters not born in the U.S., stating that if they create a ruckus for us, we don't want it here. We don't want it in our country. Go back to your country and do it in your country. What's your response to what Marco Rubio said?
We're on stolen land. We're on stolen land, people. Anyone who's not Native American is an immigrant. So I don't understand how we can choose some people and say that they're immigrants when really everybody here who's not Native American is an immigrant. So that argument makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about with Mahmoud?
Free Mahmoud Khalil. This is a travesty. And to all those students out there who have been standing up for justice, we support you, we believe in you, and we will be on the street fighting for your safety and for your freedom.
Although I appreciate and recognize and agree that Trump is a problem, he is not the only problem. The duopoly is the problem. The Democrats are the problem. You have Chuck Schumer telling people that he is here to ensure that the left stays aligned with Israel. Sure. This is a problem. Our previous administration wanted to expand policing, which they did. It is under the previous administration that we had cop cities. It is under the previous administration that those cop cities expanded. There is a map that exists, and I know it exists because I made it. With over 80 cop cities and expanding police departments across the country. We are living in a police state. We are living under surveillance state, and it is expanding. The reason these things are allowed to happen is because people stay silent unless it is somebody they disagree with. We have to stop waiting for it to be one person or a few people or the person who's in charge. The system is the problem. The duopoly is the problem.
As a, natural born U.S. citizen, I'm a pro-Palestinian protester. You're going to try to do that shit to me? Are we going to revoke birthright citizenship now? Because I know you want to do that. It's in all the plans. That's where this is headed. And honestly, I don't really have a whole lot to say to people like Rubio because we know who they are, we know what they're going to do, and look, man, if you want to go lick boots, go ahead, have fun. I'm going to go try to make sure that you guys aren't able to black bag more people, aren't able to kill more people, and I hope there's a lot of other people out there with me because you got to realize when they try to expand the envelope of who is more and more and more vulnerable to state repression, there's a direct line from that to making anybody vulnerable. That is the lesson of that first day game board. You let them start to expand the envelope and you don't stand up when there are more people still here to stand with you. There will be no one left. Maybe some people still got to catch up, but I think that's been evident for a while now. And I hope that if you haven't realized it until now, please get with the program quick because we're going to need each other. I'm not coming at this from a place of judgment. We all come to this from different places. We come to these realizations in different ways at a different pace. There's folks who come from different walks of life and other parts of the country that maybe you don't have exposure to people who look a little different than you or come from a different background. Or maybe you do, but you just it's limited, right? And it's colored by your lived experience. But again, if you are coming to this realization, please do your best to find people near you, organize with them. Find people who don't think the same as you do, who don't look the same as you do. Talk to them. You're going to learn more from them than you ever will from somebody who thinks the same, does the same things, and like it can be comfortable and good to come together with a community where you have things in common. But try to look for people who are a little different. Talk to them. Learn from them. And figure out ways that, you know, your self-interest and their self-interest are aligned and start building solidarity on that basis. Can you remind me what the question was? I got distracted.
No. Because, you know, Trump and Republicans.
Oh, hypocrites, right. So, yeah. I keep coming closer because I want to make sure you can hear it. Okay, I think I'm pulling myself out of the frame now. They're obviously hypocrites. And cancel culture was never anything other than an excuse to let them be assholes to people. That's all that it ever was. It was not having a respect for people that you don't see as human. And the more people we let not be human, the more dangerous it is for every single other person. So yeah, they're fucking hypocrites. And please, people start understanding that and doing some of the work to connect with people who are a little different than you, who your well-being is tied up with intrinsically just the same way as theirs is tied up in yours, because all of this stuff is connected, all of these issues are connected, all of this repression is connected. And we got to stand up while there's still enough people here to do something about it.